This is the next edition of Meet Me in Tennessee, a podcast about all things great in Northeast Tennessee. I'm Sabrina Morton, your host, and we are sponsored by Northeast Tennessee Tourism. Come visit us at northeasttennessee.org. If you're looking for something to do this weekend, there's an events page on there, or this week. There is always something going on and something that you probably did not know about. So northeasttennessee.org. With me today is Mr. Matt Moses from USA Raft Adventure Resort. Hey, Matt, how are you?
Good morning, Sabrina. I appreciate you having me
I'm
here.
so glad you're here. He's one of the most interesting men I know. So this should be fun. He has a great place out there on the Nolichucky, where we just went rafting actually, and it's one of the most fun things I've ever done. I did not fall out of the raft. I did sometimes choose to get out to swim. So it was a blast. We had the best day out there. It was beautiful, absolutely beautiful. You can't even explain how beautiful the land and the river are out there. So Matt, tell us first, how did you get involved in rafting as a business?
Right. Well, I went to college in Vermont to major in outdoor recreation. And so during summers there, I started guiding in Maine. And that's when it was quite clear that I was going to go a different direction than most of those I was in class with. They were looking at, managing golf courses, parks and rec departments. And I always figured I'd end up at ski resorts and raft companies. And lo and behold, that's exactly what's happened.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Where are you originally from?
I'm originally from Greensboro, North Carolina.
Okay.
So we grew up camping most weekends. We would drive up to the mountains. We were, an hour and a half from Boone. So we'd typically go to Boone or Asheville and then make our way into Northeast Tennessee or somewhere in the Smokies. But we'd go to different places all the time. And that instilled the love for the mountains for me, the love for water. I've always loved water. I like the beach. But I'm mountain people's, and give me a mountain river or a mountain lake any day, because that's where I want to be.
That's so cool. Is that how did you choose Vermont for school?
Yeah, they had the first accredited outdoor recreation program, and people still snicker a little bit when you tell them you're majoring in outdoor recreation, I would imagine. That's what the kids tell me. But back then, they straight up laughed at you. So I found an accredited program, stuck with it, and have no regrets on that.
What did you do right after college? Did you just immediately I'm going to open a rafting business?
I did not. I moved back down south. I wanted to get closer to my family again. And so I landed in Asheville, North Carolina, and then started working at a summer camp just as a raft guide. And I ended up on the Pigeon River in Tennessee. And so quickly went from being a summer camp counselor, which that was definitely not my style. I like to, take kids down the river for sure, but I don't want to be responsible for them for the rest of the day and night. But so I quickly became the manager of the Pigeon River operation for USA Raft. That was back in, probably 90. So that was when we were first starting rafting on the Pigeon River. And so I opened up USA Raft's facility there, got that off the ground, and stayed there for a long time and became the regional manager. So I would drive between all the different rivers that we were located on. We rafted USA Raft. Back in the day, we rafted on 16 different rivers. So once I became the brand manager, I would spend all of my time just driving between those locations and kind of managing the managers and then driving the sales, the off-season sales efforts. Okay. Unlike most people think, rafting company owners and their year-round employees, which are few and far between, we don't have our toes in the sand all winter down in Costa Rica. That's when we're doing the heavy work, planning for the upcoming season, doing the marketing, all the strategy stuff. Mm-hmm. So there, it is an actual business, and so we have to treat it as such. But it's a really fun business. I'm thankful to be in it.
That's awesome. So how long have you had the business yourself? Because you are the business owner, correct?
Correct. Now I am, yes. I own USA Raft Adventure Resort. And so I've owned it for 14 years now. And that was just by working really hard for USA Raft. The founder of USA Raft they were headquartered in up north in West Virginia, northern West Virginia on the Cheat River. And the founder really mentored me and took me under his wing and taught. He was a mathematician, oddly enough. Not a lot of kayaking raft company under mathematicians. And he was even able to teach a guy like me how to manage by numbers. And that's how USA Raft grew to be so successful, because he could teach guys like me how to do that. And so, but once I purchased the Nolichucky and the French Broad operations, the others had been sold off, and I wasn't really interested in taking on all that, having gotten so close to how difficult it is to manage 16 locations. So the Nolichucky was always my favorite, and the founder called me once and said, Moses, I've got a deal for you, and I'm no trustafarian. He offered me owner financing, and I got it paid off. Wow. And did decide to put all of our efforts and focus into Northeast Tennessee. And so we pulled off the French Broad, sold the property over there. We still raft there some on occasion for groups that have been with us a long time. But Northeast Tennessee, and particularly the Nolichucky, is just so special that I really wanted to put all my efforts, energy, and dollars into expanding here in the Irwin area and focusing and bringing more people to experience the magic and the beauty that you got to experience last week, yes. or recently, yes. I believe. That gorge is really special, isn't it?
It is so beautiful. I had not rafted there. I've only actually, I didn't even raft. You know the duckies? They call them the little. I don't know what those are.
We call them duckies. Yeah, inflatable kayaks, but they're duckies.
So I did that one time in West Virginia when my children were younger, and the rafting I liked a lot more. But I had never been down the Nolichucky, and it was, it takes your breath away. It's so beautiful.
It is.
You really can't explain it. It's just the mountains, the water is gorgeous. We had a blast in the water. I love water also. But just swimming that day and getting out, taking breaks, and just enjoying the beauty of this area. It truly is amazing, and you really understand why people want to come here all the time. We have people wanting to move here from all over the place, and that's why. It's things like USA Raft and just the beauty of that land out there.
Absolutely.
It was amazing. And our raft guide, Samson.
Yes,
was my raft guide.
Yep.
Was amazing. He made it so fun. I wouldn't say I'm not an athlete at all. It takes some. It's a little, you got to do some work to raft.
Yeah, it's a participatory activity.
It is, which was great. I did go get a massage several days later, and he was like, "What did you do?" And I was like, "Well, I rafted,
paddled a lot on the
paddled a lot." But Samson made it so fun. He was so sweet and just gave us a lot of information about the land out there and about the river, and also, we have discussed how your employees are easy on the eyes. And I guess it's the rafting, I don't know, really does the body good because you have some nice looking young men and women out there. If that doesn't encourage people to go, I don't know what it. But I came home and told my daughters, I was like, you need to be out there rafting because there's some hot guys out there. So there's some hot rafting guys at USA Raft. So.
Those are my kids. I got a lot of them out there. And I have heard that before. Mm-hmm. We're getting questioned a lot lately if all the males that work there are having a hair growing contest. If we are, I'm winning.
Are you winning? Are you mad? I don't know. Samson, he had beautiful hair, mm-hmm. shoulder length, and then Cole.
Cole? Oh, I think
he's winning.
I think Cole's
winning the beard game also.
And he's winning the beard game, you're right. Well, I guess I can't have it all. We'll let the kids have their fun.
That's right.
But I'm thankful for all these kids. The models really changed a lot. It used to be a lot of just a swarm of college students would come in from all over the country every summer. They'd live in the woods. We called it my Hoods and Woods program. And then they'd show up and go take people rafting every day. But now we have a lot more locals that work for us. A lot of, we do have still a lot of students because it's a very good job for them. A lot of ETSU students, but just a lot of locals. And as the business has grown, we've added. I'm really proud of the amount of jobs that we've brought to our very rural and I believe it's very safe to say economically depressed county there that we're in Unicoi. Businesses are coming in, things are looking great, but I am really proud of all the jobs. Now we have 4 year-round full-time housekeepers, for example.
Wow.
And bar and kitchen staff.
Right.
So in the winter, it just used to be myself and my spouse. We'd be riding one wheels from cabin to cabin, carrying laundry baskets, doing the laundry with a phone on our hip, making reservations and doing it all. But we've definitely grown way beyond that these days.
That's great. That's one of the things I want to talk to you about is how you've expanded from, it's not just rafting. You could spend several days, maybe a week there and just do a lot of different things. You have the tubes, right? So
Correct.
you can just float. If you don't want to raft and paddle and do the super adventurous thing that I did the other day, you can just float. You can get a float down the river.
You sure can.
Just relax.
This time of year, I was talking with some of our guests yesterday, and this time of year we kind of shift in our typical guest where they're coming. You can hike. The Appalachian Trail comes right into our property. There's a little 25-yard spur trail there. So it's pretty special to be able to walk from your cabin right onto the Appalachian Trail and go hiking all day. Mm-hmm. So now this time of year we start seeing a lot more hikers. We see a lot of kayakers. They're not coming to raft with us. They'll come and bring their own paddle gear and do that themselves. A lot of people there to fish. I saw a lady the other day setting her easel up on the deck of her cabin. She was there for 3 days just to paint. And, I hope to get a copy of the beautiful painting I saw her leaving with.
I bet.
And I have been gifted many times by different artists that come out there and just spend their time, painting one of the many beautiful scenes there. And every once in a while, I'll get a copy of that.
That's great.
It's always appreciated.
Well, it's definitely paint worthy. It's so lovely.
That gorge that you rafted down, that's the most adventurous of the trips we offer. So good for you.
Thank you. And I stayed in the raft.
And you stayed in the... we prefer voluntary swims.
Yes.
Under your own power, not getting violently ejected out of the raft.
Right.
Hopefully you did get to witness some of your cohorts or co-workers getting violently ejected for your entertainment.
I did, actually.
Okay. And everybody was okay?
And everybody was completely fine, yes.
Of course.
It's just part of the adventure.
Exactly, yeah. But yeah, I mean, the only man-made thing you saw the whole way down in 8.5 miles was a railroad track, right?
Yes.
I mean, where are you going to go and see that anymore?
I know. That was so interesting, too.
We had people from all over the world. 3 years ago, pre-COVID, the first rafting guests of the season that year was a family from Holland. They flew into Atlanta, they rented an RV, and they were spending a month traveling the country. And this family they're rafting enthusiasts, and that's a typical vacation for them. And so after they did all their research, and mind you, they were going to California and back, and they chose the Nolichucky as their first destination. And they chose that as the river they wanted to raft while they were touring the States. After doing their research, they ended up extending their stay, and we got a lovely postcard from them when they got back home saying that they spent more nights they spent twice as many nights at our place, which I think was 4, than they spent anywhere else. Like 2 nights, they said, was the max they would stay anywhere. Uh-huh. But that's how special that place is.
It really
is. That's how fortunate we are to live here in Northeast Tennessee.
Absolutely. And you've done a lot of expansion there. Not only, let's see, you can raft, you can float, great campground. Tell us what amenities, what all you have there at the campground. So you can bring your tent.
Yes, you bring your tent or your hammock. Mm-hmm. You can go old school with it and do your own camping thing. We have what we call bell tents, which are like a safari tent that are pre-set up. They have mattress, linens, a heater in them, which was, I'm sure they appreciated this morning.
Yes.
But in power. And those are on big decks overlooking the river. We have geodomes, which are super cool.
They're very cool.
They're a true dome. They are air-conditioned, heated, once again on a big deck hanging out over the pond that overlooks the river. Sitting on those decks in the evening and listening to the aquatic life in those ponds and then watching the eagle or the osprey on the river right behind it is pretty magical. We have a tiny house. We have multiple tiny houses. We were ahead of the curve on the tiny house craze, and Tiny House Nation television show. They somehow ended up getting them out there to make a TV show and build us a tiny house right on the river. And that's season 1, episode 2 of Tiny House Nation that can still be found on Amazon. That was a cool experience. And that's what really, really helped create my vision for more lodging and adding more activities. Let's bring people in. Let's keep them here longer because they want to stay here longer. Mm-hmm. Let's give them reasons to not have to leave the property unless it's under hiking boot power or a raft or a tube or a paddleboard. And so to help accomplish that, we opened a bar. And it's really it's kind of an outdoor tap room. It's super cool. And now we have our One Love Appalachian Jamaican Fusion restaurant.
Wow.
So, and when I say restaurant, it's actually a food truck, and we serve you on the deck of our bar or right down by the river at one of our many picnic tables. And so to further help people, give them a reason to stay longer we've gotten into a very eclectic mix of lodging, as you were asking about. And so now we have what we call the Vintage Village, where I've got 8 vintage Airstream campers that we've completely restored. Some we've brought back to their original state. Mostly, though, we trick them out with a touch of modern. Appalachian chic is what we like to call it.
Love that.
And those are really neat. We have everything. We have a 1949 Vagabond camper, 1962 Airstream, a lot of 70s models, but some really cool units. We've had people, we have a lot of guests that come stay with us. Some, they just want to try staying in a tiny house. Mm-hmm. Most of those guests, when they're leaving, they thank us and they say they'll be back for their vacation again, but they thank us for saving them from buying a tiny house because it would have been an expensive mistake that might have broken the family up because
Matt,
it is a tiny
just
house.
Helping the people out there.
That's right. That's right. So, and then we got some big bunkhouses too. Mm-hmm. We got 2 huge old poplar cabins that are from 1890. And those used to be filled with bunks. They were more for like youth groups and sports teams and such. But now we've made those much nicer also. And they're more geared towards like, a family reunion or just a few families renting those.
That's cool.
And everything's right there at our main property, at the resort property, on the banks of the Nolichucky. And now our new campground, Red Bank Campground, right when you get off the interstate, all you see is our big new outfitter store lodge building there when you get off the interstate. But if you drive back behind there, we've got this gorgeous new bathhouse that we just had built, and we've got beautiful riverside camping up behind there. And that's on what we consider the lower Nolichucky. So the water's a little calmer, the fishing's a little better. I mean, great smallmouth and trout fishing there. In that campground, once again, you can bring your tent or your hammock, which we see a good bit of. But you see so many overlanders, trucks with rooftop tents, adventure vans. I'm an adventure van guy. We've kind of built that campground and kind of designed it for that crowd.
Okay, cool.
And that's starting to be a real hit. We had the Jeeps Babe convention there, gathering this summer. There was 70-something women with Jeeps in from as far as Oklahoma. They've already booked for next year, and they're predicting 500.
Wow!
Because that happened with no social media or anything to throw out there for marketing materials. But now we've got the materials from this year's event. We've got a group of overlanders that are doing a takeover. We had a takeover from a Tri-Cities group. A bunch of Harley guys. They took over one weekend and all rode their bikes out there, and we set up a washing station for them. We like to, we're all about under promising and over delivering.
Absolutely.
And guest service while rafting is at the core of our business, everything comes down to how we serve our guests. And And hopefully it shows when people are out there that that's what's most important to us. Regardless of the situation, things are going to happen, but it's our job to make sure that we handle them in the best way possible and that the guests have a great and safe experience.
That's incredible. It sounds like there's a little something for anyone who'd want to come out there. Tell me the craziest story you can think of what has just something crazy that's happened out there on the river, at the campground. You can choose.
Well, those stories are endless.
I thought maybe so.
They happen on the daily. It is not uncommon for somebody to say, Moses, you remember when? And tell me a crazy story. And reflecting back on it, yes, I remember that. But it's gotten pushed way down in the crazy stories because, well,
there's so many new ones.
It's USA Raft Adventure Resort. We like to say we put the adventure in it. But, there was this bachelor party, and they did not want to listen to their raft guide as well as your group did. Mm-hmm. So you remember Quarter Mile Rapid, that big, the long, scary one with the most consequences if you find yourself out of the raft? That we stress with our guests before we enter.
Absolutely.
So there's a big, huge rock in the middle of that rapid. I mean, a big one, bigger than this room. And the raft ends up on the side of that rock, and our guide thoughtfully, before the raft flips completely over, gets all of the bachelor boys onto the top of that rock. So this rock is basically in the middle of the river. There's a lot of white water on either side of that rock going to the bank. It took hours to get them off of there. They kept wanting a helicopter. It was like, no, we're not bringing in a helicopter for you fellas. They didn't want to use the ropes we had up. But we got them back. We got them off the rock eventually using ropes. I think one of my staff from the bank, to prove to them that this is going to be okay, climbed out there to help clip them in and all, and then bring them back. And then once they saw that, they tried it. But it was well after dark by the time we got them off of that rock. So fortunately, my staff being on it, when we got back to the outpost, there's a lot of cold beer and a lot of pizza waiting for our cold, shivering bad boy bachelors. That I'm sure the next time they go rafting, they'll be better paddlers, better listeners.
Absolutely. That's the thing is people think of it as, it's dangerous, I might get hurt. But honestly, if you're listening, you have to listen to the guide and remember what they're saying and do what they're saying while you're out there. And I never was scared at all or felt like my life was in danger because I was paying attention and I was doing what I was supposed to do. And I think that is key. And, sometimes accidents happen and they're unforeseen. But I felt very safe. I feel like everyone's well-trained out there. Good. I never felt like my life was endangered at all. It's good
to hear that perspective, and that's what we train so hard for. And things are going to happen, and it's how we manage it. But yeah, it's it's exhilarating. It's adventure, and it's our job to manage the risk and not put anybody in unnecessary harm's way.
Right. Okay. Well, let me ask you another question. If you were not in the rafting or camping business, what would you be doing?
Yeah, I really couldn't imagine not being in it because it's really all I've known. But back to earlier when I mentioned that the founder called me and offered me the Nolichucky, he had to call me because as he started selling off all of the outposts, we call them, the different rivers. Since he was moving that direction, I got into international adventure travel for a while. So I could see myself going back to leading end-to-end kayak tours in the Greek Isles. Mm-hmm. I didn't mind that so much. Mm-hmm. Did Arctic exploration for guests. We even had one trip is the Champagne flight, and you could fly in the old Russian helicopter from St. Petersburg to pick up the hardcore crew that ski-jored and dog-sledded into the pole.
Wow.
But for the Champagne flight, you get to just fly in, get your picture taken, hitting a golf ball at the pole, and popping a bottle of champagne.
Adorable.
So I went in the hard way. and was happy to take the helicopter out with the fancy folk, though.
Yes.
But yeah, I could see I would probably be doing international adventure travel.
Well, if you
and
decide
being more of a guide and less of an owner,
right.
Because I don't get to play raft guide much
No,
anymore.
you have to do the business part.
Yeah, somebody's
And all
got to do
those
that.
little-
Somebody's got to do the podcasts.
That's right. Somebody has to do the podcast, and we'll leave the cute little young
Yeah.
kiddos out there to do the
I've
hard
handed
work.
the baton on to them. All those cute boys
That's right.
that work for me.
If you decide to go international and you need an assistant, you just call me. Let me
Thank
know.
you.
I will be up for the task.
Go
I
keep
think.
that in mind.
I could go to the Greek Isles.
I see us both staying here in beautiful Northeast Tennessee, though.
Probably so. Probably so.
It's pretty cool
It's
here.
hard to leave after you get here.
It is.
Do you have any special events coming up for fall? I know you all
We
have
do.
live music often.
We
also.
do, yes. So at the Takeout Bar and Grill, that's at our 2 Jones Branch Road property, our original resort property. Every Wednesday night we have open mic night, and that's a really neat event. We have the same guy come out and lead it, and just some really great musicians. I was there this Wednesday for that, and I was very pleasantly surprised with the level of talent. It was not painful at all. These were some great musicians, and it's a lot of regulars that come out. A great crowd from Johnson City comes out for that. So that's every Wednesday. On September 30th, we have the Appalachian Moondogs playing.
Okay.
And those guys, I'm excited about that. They seem really fired up to play there. That's going to be from 8 till 11. And then, let's see, October 7th and 8th, we have the Joey Times reunion. The name of it is not descriptive at all. Joey Times is the name of a dog, a random dog. Not sure how Joey got that name, but it's a music festival that has just been moved to our location from somewhere else, which we're seeing a lot of also as we've created this, because now I've built that, we've got a small stage at the bar, and then I've got that big stage. We just wrapped up Soul Slam Mountain Jam, which that's my favorite.
Yes.
That's a 3-day music event. I remind the staff after that one every year, please don't let me do another. That's going to forever be our only 3-day long music event because it's hard on all of us.
It takes about a week to recover.
Oh,
probably,
yeah. It's
from
a
that.
lot of fun, though. Great music, great people, a lot of return people. So that was fun. But Joey Times sounds like Soul Slam, that moved here from the Windjammer Resort in Charleston, where it had been going on for 10 years. They found Northeast Tennessee and fell in love with it. Joey Times found Northeast Tennessee and fell in love with it. I'm not sure where they moved that event from, but that one sounds fun. It's a mix of music, a lot of bands from Asheville, North Carolina. I would definitely expect some great musicians on that stage, though. Everything from, there's guaranteed to be some horns on there and probably some reggae, all sorts of good stuff. And then getting a little further out, we've got on the 24th. Oh, actually, this is near future. I beg your pardon. So on
This
the
weekend.
24th, yeah, this
Well,
weekend.
I mean,
So on the 24th, we have the Side Effects, and this is at the bar stage. And on the 25th, we have Schumer Sound System.
okay.
That's a DJ set.
Okay, that's fun.
Oh, that's Shuffler. That's my man, DJ Shuffler. Yeah, Shuffler. And he is a lot of fun. He plays to the crowd, so it's whatever people want to hear.
Okay.
But yeah, so we're just trying to give people one more reason to come out, sit and enjoy, whether it's an adult beverage or not.
It is all ages, right?
Yes, everything is
there.
always family friendly.
Yes.
That is definitely our motto, and so you can come out, enjoy some music, some food, and the view and the crowd,
Yes.
and watch kids running around. And all of our lodging units are dog friendly, so there's a lot of dogs out there quite often, and on weekends we do ask that they be leashed because everybody's got a dog out there.
Right.
And right now we're getting ready to release some lodging specials. We really hope that some of our local friends and community take advantage of that, especially the those that can come out on the weekday. It's with any
Right.
tourism business. There's a lot of available occupancy during the week. So we're by Monday we'll be releasing some great new deals for midweek, but also we're restructuring some of the pricing for the new
That's great.
lodging.
And do you have Wi-Fi available out there? I'm
We
wondering
do.
so you can work.
Oh yeah,
work remotely
we have
and-
1 gigabyte fiber out there.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, so
I think that's better than what I get at home. So
it's better than a lot of
come out there
cities
and work.
have. It really is, and so that's been a game changer. And that was really helpful as we were shifting into more lodging, and then pandemic times. We were able to capitalize on those who were traveling, were coming,
Right.
staying for longer times because they could work remotely.
Yes.
We even have a community kitchen there if you're staying with us, and off of that community kitchen is a community workspace.
Oh.
So say you're in one of the cabins with your family, but you're still supposed to be getting some work done. We've got an office for you to come enjoy.
That's very cool.
Most people opt for sitting down by the river with their laptop
Yes.
because the Wi-Fi works everywhere.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
We intentionally don't tell kids that the Wi-Fi is working because, we want to see people hopefully using their thumbs less and staring down at their screen of their handheld a lot less.
Absolutely.
We want people to look up, enjoy the beauty. One thing I stress on my staff often is these kids you're taking down the river, those are our future leaders and decision makers, like it or not.
That's right.
This is our opportunity to educate them and to instill in them a love for nature, an appreciation of it, help them appreciate clean water. The Nolichucky River it's one reason that I chose the Nolichucky to be where I'm going to operate my commercial rafting company, because I can feel absolutely confident about putting my staff and my guests in that clean water. It is definitely one of the most beautiful and certainly one of the most clean commercially rafted rivers on the East Coast, if not beyond. But so, that's what we're going for. And that's the lifestyles myself and my staff have chosen. And so hopefully we can instill in these kids that same thing. And some of them might go on to be our legislators one day, I tell our staff. So let's get them prepared
Yes.
to help us protect what we have. These natural resources that we have here are our greatest asset, I believe. That and the great people of Northeast Tennessee.
Absolutely. I agree with that. Okay, we've got a few more questions I want to ask you, and these are less business-oriented, more getting to know Matt Moses, the man, oriented. So
Oh, good.
this is the stuff everybody wants to know. If you could go back and give your 18-year-old self advice, what would that advice be?
Basic, really simple advice that we've all heard and tend to forget. To not sweat the small stuff. Especially in my line of work, there's so many variables. The water might be scary high, might be brutally low. We can't control that. So I would tell my young self to focus on what I can control. And the rest, can't control it. So have a plan.
That's right. That absolutely
And
applies
another
to-
plan, and another plan,
That
and another
applies to every occupation
I think
or
so.
whatever you're doing, and even if you're just staying at home.
I believe so.
taking care
Yeah,
of
that's
kids or-
so. Sorry, there's no great nuggets there. That's basic stuff, but it's. I
It's
think
a
it's
valuable-
important for everyone.
valuable advice, I
Yes.
think. What motivates you to get up each morning?
Spreading Stoke. One of my staff just gave me a sticker that says Stoke dealer. And for those who don't know, I
love that.
on one of our Instagram posts. Somebody asked, "What is Stoke?" And so we checked Wikipedia, and hopefully now Wikipedia has my definition of Stoke, because just shooting from the hip I think is pretty accurate. But it's that feeling or sensation one gets when they're doing something they love, that might be pushing the boundaries a little bit and challenging you. And so that sense of Stoke when you're entering that big rapid on a stand-up paddleboard or your kayak, or you just crested that trail that you've been that ridge line you've been eyeballing all day as you're hiking to get to. That's Stoke. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. It's reminding me actually of my rafting trip I recently took, and I volunteered to ride the bull. I just don't know if you heard that,
Stoke. I did not know you rode the bull.
I did ride the bull.
Yeah.
So
good
if
for
you want to know what riding the bull is when you're rafting, you will have to go to USA Raft and do a rafting trip. And then you will be so impressed that I'm such a badass that I rode the bull.
I like that. I think we keep that a secret, and these folks listening, they can go request to ride the bull and find out what it's all about.
Right.
Good for you, though.
Thank you.
Because that's a big ride.
Yeah, it was fun.
But that's that raft guide, Samson. Good job, Samson. That's Samson spreading Stoke.
Yes.
And
I feel like Samson and Cole definitely spread Stoke.
Yeah, they do. Those are my guys.
Yes.
But, just to further someone's sense of adventure, that's what helps me get out of bed.
That's awesome. That's a good answer. In a movie about your life, who would play you?
Well, I posed this one to the staff this morning, and they all really had a lot of fun with that. And I was super excited to hear their collective answer, but then the follow-up, but I'm going to share it with you.
Okay.
So I was really pleased to hear them say, all the ladies in that office agree on Matthew McConaughey.
I was going to say that.
Oh, really?
Alicia was going to say it also.
But so then they said, but we're talking about the all right from Dazed and Confused, Matthew McConaughey.
But that's okay.
I think I'll take that too.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with McConaughey.
Okay. I agree. If I had that in my head already, I need to start writing these down, because the last person I did a podcast with, she said Reese Witherspoon. I think it was Reese Witherspoon, and I was thinking that.
Is that who you had her for?
Yeah, I kind of had that in my head. Like, she has that kind of Southern charm kind of vibe. You definitely are McConaughey. I mean, there's no one else who could play the role of Matt Moses.
Right on.
I love it. I love it. Maybe you'll play him in something, actually.
I mean, I'm here for you, McConaughey.
Come get us. I got you. Okay, your favorite local dining spot anywhere in our Northeast Tennessee region?
There's so many good ones, and there's so many new ones coming up. But one of my longtime favorites, shout out to my buddy Raphael that has a lot of great restaurants around here, but Label is my go-to quite often. But there's so many great restaurateurs around here. Main Street Pizza, I love.
Yes.
I mean, there's so many great spots, but I'm gonna go with Label.
That's a good one. We do have a lot of really good locally owned restaurants,
and it is improving so much.
Absolutely, it's going like crazy.
In Irwin, we're getting new restaurants, and that's exciting. We've got some great new ones coming in. So, and I've got to give a shout out to One Love, my Appalachian Jamaican fusion food truck.
I thought that might be your answer.
It's pretty good too. Pretty good.
That's good. Okay. Your signature cocktail.
Oh, that's an easy one. So I make the world's best verjito. That's right. I did not say mojito. It's a verjito. As someone who spent a decade in Vermont, instead of a simple syrup, I prefer to use 100% pure maple syrup. Ooh. So it's a little darker, but that sweetness. It's not as sweet as the simple syrup. Do yourself a favor. Let me make you a verjito sometime.
I am going to let you make me one. Just the next time we are in a social situation, that's going to happen. That sounds really, really good.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that. Good answer. And the last question, this is the one I always like to end on because I have a huge love for music. What is your personal theme song?
I love music also. And so you being a music lover, that's a hard question.
It is very hard.
And I was going through some of my playlists on my way here to answer that with all accuracy. So you heard me say Appalachian Jamaican fusion. Mm-hmm. You know I love water, mostly, especially rivers. So I see there's a lot of continuity between island life and river life, even though we're here in the mountains. So I'm a big fan of like reggae, ska with a little dub, like some Slightly Stupid. Middle of the ocean, that's going to be my theme song answer. So check it out. Slightly Stupid, middle of the ocean. Picture Matt Moses in the middle of a river standing on Bachelor Party Rock, wondering how I'm going to get off of it.
That vision's going to be stuck in my head forever. I'm not familiar with that song. I do know who Slightly Stupid is, but we'll be listening to that on the way home today. Very curious.
Enjoy.
Yeah, I will. Matt, thank you so much for being with us today and doing my little podcast.
Thank you,
so
Sabrina.
Fun. I knew you'd be a great guest and entertaining.
Well, I'm a huge fan of Northeast Tennessee Tourism Association and the work that y'all do. Thank you for all of that.
Thank you so much.
Let's get more people here so that they can experience this beautiful place.
So they can ride the bull.
They can come ride the bull in this beautiful place we live.
That's right.
Thanks, Sabrina.
Thank you. And let me mention one more time, if you are looking for something to do, of course, you can look up USA Raft Adventure Resort. And if you're not quite feeling adventurous this week, look up northeasttennessee.org. It's Northeast Tennessee Tourism Association. There are always events on there of things to do in all 8 counties of Northeast Tennessee. Thanks for listening. We'll talk again soon.